So now students, we discuss here the 3 modes of experience and 6 stages of development. Sullivan conceptualized personality developments as consisting of 6 stages or developmental epochs spanning infancy through late adolescence. Sullivan has basically described 6 stages for personality development that starts from infancy and is likely to complete till late adolescence. And during these personality stages, 3 mode of experiences are likely to occur. First mode of experience, the Sullivan has described here, that is prototaxic mode. It is the earliest infancy, most primitive type of experience. It is a state of generalized sensation or feelings in the absence of thoughts. A child does not have a sense of self to be separated from the environment. Basically, a child or an infant behave whatever he or she feels. So his feelings are exhibited in form of behavior, but child is not able enough to describe his thoughts, and child because the cognition of the child has been developed in adult and adolescent. So child cognition level is not mature enough, and due to the absence of those thoughts, child couldn't separate own self from the environment. You have observed a child while standing in front of a mirror. Usually child see the image of own self in the mirror, but he or she thinks that is another child. Why child couldn't find the similarity and couldn't understand that is not another child, but basically that is his own self that is being shown, and child start talking to that image. लेकिन क्यों? क्योंकि उसकी वो थॉट्स उस तरह डेवलप नहीं होती, और वो ज्यादा की जो फंक्शनिंग होती है एक इन्फेंट की, छोटे बच्चे की जो फंक्शनिंग होती है डिपेंड्स अपॉन सेंसेशन एंड फीलिंग्स. तो वहां पर वो थॉट्स जो होती हैं, दीज थॉट्स आर नॉट मैच्योर इनफ. सो उसका जो सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ है दैट इज नॉट डेवलप्ड इन द अर्ली स्टेज ऑफ लाइफ. द नेक्स्ट मोड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस इज द पैराटैक्सिक मोड. द पैराटैक्सिक मोड इज एक्सपीरियंस व्हेन अ चाइल्ड बिगिंस टू यूज स्पीच. अ चाइल्ड कैन यूज फ्यू logical connection within sequence of experiences. In adult, parataxic experience may serve as a rough basis for memories related to habits. So, this mode of experience, when child start using speech or verbal ability to express own opinion and feelings and emotions. So, child also gain experience from the speech, and child verbalize something and he try to learn from that. So, during this mode of experience, child also become able to use logic in order to make connection among series of experiencing he or she is gaining. But child couldn't completely use the logical connection, find the logical connection among the experiences, but to some extent he becomes able to make connection or judge something on the basis of the logics. अगर आप इसको adult में देखें, ये experiences किस तरह हैं, तो these experiences will be related to the habits, and वो किस तरह form में होंगे, that will be present in the form of the memories. Third mode of experience is syntaxic mode. During this experience, meaning of words become shared with others. Experience, judgment and observation are also shared. Person is able to share syntactic experience with another person. A child also learn to separate experience they share with others. So during this experience, person also become able to share words and sentences with another one. You think basically that involves the conversation. In life, we are more indulgent in conversation when 2 persons are involved in conversation. So that conversation is not only confined to the sitting or to the presence of 2 persons, but during that conversation, our experiences, our judgments, our feelings, or experiences are also shared another person with whom currently we are involved in conversation. So during this experience, person also tries to give the meaning whatever he or she say during that conversation. He or she also share his experiences and his observation with another person. Also learn to share his or her experiences with others. The first stage of personality development is infancy, prototaxic feeling about good and bad caregiver. The infancy stage starts at birth and continues until the appearance of speech. So this stage starts from day first of a child, and at this stage child is not able enough to verbalize what he or she is feeling. So it starts starts from that period and is and continues until the appearance of speech, and this infancy stage continues when child start verbalizing something. Although the infant words are not clear enough, but he infant tries to produce some words and he tries to produce some words which could be understood by the caregiver. The experience integrates infant's need for water, food and contact, and caregiver needs to show tenderness. So when child needs something like water, food, and he wants to take sound sleeps, at that time a mother is there to gratify his need for tenderness. So mother through sympathetic behavior and produce and release get the child relief from the tension being produced of that need. So during this experience and interaction among infant and mother, personification is developed, and personification involves investment of human attributes in person or object that do not actually possess the assigned traits. So basically this personification is not the actual trait of the person, but in the light of the experience with the caregiver, a child is having, he start attributing some characteristics or some words to a person or object like good, bad, lovely, hateful. So these are not basically the actual traits of the person, but in the light of experience, a person assign these attributes to a person. जैसे अगर हम किसी को कहें कि ये अच्छा इंसान है, ये बुरा इंसान है, तो हम अच्छा या बुरा उसको कैसे कहेंगे? जैसे अगर एक टीचर कहता है कि नो ये स्टूडेंट बड़ा डल और ये स्टूडेंट बड़ा इंटेलिजेंट है, तो किन बेसिस पर एक टीचर या जो है वो स्टूडेंट के बारे में कहेगा कि दैट स्टूडेंट इज डल स्टूडेंट, दैट स्टूडेंट इज वेरी एक्टिव स्टूडेंट, सम ओबीडिएंट स्टूडेंट्स? डेफिनेटली दैट पर्सनिफिकेशन will be based on the experience. तो यहाँ पर पर्सनिफिकेशन को आप देख लें कि हम हर चीज के बारे में हमारे कुछ अपोजिट हमने एट्रीब्यूट्स दिए हुए होते हैं, अच्छा, बुरा, गंदा, साफ, केयरिंग, केयरलेस. तो ये पर्सनिफिकेशन जो होते हैं वो इसी स्टेज पर हम आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जो है वो देना शुरू करते हैं. फॉरबिडिंग जेस्चर्स हेल्प इन आइडेंटिफाइंग द गुड एंड बैड इमेज ऑफ अ पर्सन और ऑब्जेक्ट. सो हेटफुल जो जेस्चर्स होते हैं, हेटफुल जेस्चर्स किस तरह के होते हैं? स्टाइल जेस्चर कहते होते हैं कि सपोज अगर आप किसी को अजीब फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन से देखते हैं, या योर आईज आर इंडिकेटिंग समथिंग, आवर आईज बेसिकली टेल्स अबाउट द इंटेंशन एंड वी कैन इजीली आइडेंटिफाई द इंटेंशन ऑफ द पर्सन व्हाइल पेइंग अटेंशन टू हिज और हर आईज. सो वो उसके जो इस तरह के जेस्चर्स हैं या उसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज है जिससे हमें पता चलता है कि दैट इज द गुड इमेज ऑफ अ पर्सन एंड दैट इज द बैड इमेज ऑफ द पर्सन. तो हमें और इसी तरह वी ऑल्सो आइडेंटिफाई द गुड and bad object are present in front of us. Dynamics is the relatively enduring energy which characterize the organism in its duration as a living organism. So organism also have dynamics, and that is the energy, and that energy is basically make the organism alive. So at this stage you can easily understand how personification is developed and how we differentiate good and bad object and what kind of the experience and how infant gain experience being the while being closer to the caregiver. तो अगर एक बच्चा जो है उसका एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो मदर का एम्पैथेटिक बिहेवियर होगा और वो उसने उसको उस तरह केयर नहीं की होगी, उसकी नीड की डेडिकेशन नहीं होगी, तो इट्स मीन एंजाइटी एंड टेंशन इज देयर. अब उस एंजाइटी टेंशन के लिए रिलेटेड उसके जो एक्सपीरियंसेस होंगे, उसका जो इंट्रैक्शन होगा, उसकी बेसिस पर एक पर्सनिफिकेशन का प्रोसेस इन्वॉल्व हो जाएगा जिसमें वो ग्रेजुअली child learns to assign the attributes or perceiving the thing in good way or bad way. Childhood is the second stage of personality development, parataxic learning applicable to social habits and self. The childhood stage emerges with articulate speech and ends with the appearance of the need for peers. So here now child will try to articulate different words, phrases, sentences, and with the passage of time he will be trying to have command over the language spoken at home and outside the home. And during that phase of life, child also try to socialize on self. He will be playing. His child plays with other children in school and outside of home. So he interacts with other and he makes relationship of the children of his age, and he want to be close to the peers also. So important developmental tasks are expected to be begun during this stage, that is rapid social acculturation. So child try to socialize on self. He learns different things from children belonging to other cultures. Student, you have observed some children using different words or pronouncing or speaking different words of different languages. जैसे आपने देखा होगा कि sometimes child is talking to you, sometimes he or she uses words in Urdu and sometimes he uses words in Punjabi, and the child who are able to understand the English, comprehend the English, sometimes child tries to pronounce the words in English. So language, habits, lifestyle and play activities are also learned through different being closer to different cultures. Language acquisition, child also try to learn the language is spoken at home, outside the home and in the school setting, academic setting also. अगर एक बच्चा जो है वो किसी ऐसे कल्चर में रह रहा है, जैसे सपोज अगर वो दोनों में सिंध में रह रहा है, although is not सिंधी, लेकिन वो बच्चों के साथ खेलता है, बैठता है, उसके अपने घर में उर्दू बोली जा रही है, स्कूल में इंग्लिश बोली जा रही है, बट चाइल्ड ऑल्सो एक्वायर द सिंधी लैंग्वेज ऑल्सो. क्यों? क्योंकि वो उस कल्चर में रह रहा है, उसके पार्ट में है, तो उन चीजों को भी जो है वो ज्यादा उसको इनकॉर्पोरेट करने की कोशिश करता है. एंड ड्यूरिंग दिस स्टेज सेल्फ सिस्टम इज ऑल्सो डेवलप. और सेल्फ सिस्टम हम पहले पढ़ चुके हैं. दैट इज अ कलेक्शन ऑफ इंडिविजुअल परसेप्शंस एंड इट ऑल्सो कंटेन्स डिफरेंट बिलीव्स. सो चाइल्ड interaction and interpersonal experiences with the significant one, especially with mother or caregiver, will determine and form the self system. Child also learns through trial and success. Child will try to do something, and if he gets success, so he will be happy and will continue this effort in future also. Child also learn through reward and punishment. The act for which he is rewarded, he will be likely to continue it in future, and the act for which he is punished, so he will not be likely to use it in the future. So sense of reward and punishment also develop the sense of right and wrong and of do's and don'ts. So trial and error, he also learn through trial and error. Child tries, and if he make mistake, then he may learn from the mistake and he will do it again. So trial and error, trial and success, reward and punishment, all these mode of learning also develop the personality of a child. Child also learn by anxiety. If a child is anxious and he is worried about something, so he may do something to reduce his tension, and he will try to find the way through which he can remove his concerns and overcome his concerns and tensions and anxiousness. Anxiety gradient, here the child will try to differentiate and discriminate the higher energy and the lower energy, and he will learn how can he overcome his anxiety, and he will try to find the way through which he can reduce or diminish the anxiety. So here, moving from high level of anxiety from the diminished anxiety also. In the previous one, anxiety, that was basically not the severe anxiety, and person use low level of less anxiety and some anxiousness and fears, he becomes able to do something. But anxiety gradient, that is severe or from the previous one, but here he will discriminate and try to diminish that severe anxiety. Sublimation, here child will try to involve in the activities through which he may express his feelings, opinions and emotions in more appropriate way. That these ways and these activities are socially appropriate, and these are not dangerous for expressing even expression of negative emotions in a person. In inductive, through this mode of learning, a child basically try to find the relationship among different aspects of something. Suppose in the beginning child learns that is the nose, that is eye, that is my hand. But at the end, what does a child learn? Child learn to understand the concept of the whole body, and at the end he start thinking, no, that is my body, that is my physics, that is my body parts, that is myself. So in inductive, basically concrete and abstract parts are collected together to perceive as a whole, and that ability is basically, and that is the indication of intellectual maturity as well. Socialization of child depends on frequency, consistency and sanity. So when you desire to make your child a social child and you are developing a socialization in your child, then you will also notice or pay attention to the frequency of the specific behavior you are going to develop in your child. So you will have to see how many times your child has behaved in that specific way to be socialized. अगर आप बच्चे को बताना चाहते हैं क्योंकि इसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी उसकी कितनी दफा उसने किया है, अगर एक बच्चा जो है वो दूसरे बच्चों के साथ खेलता है या डिसेंट वे में बहुत अच्छे तरीके से उनसे बात कर रहा है, तो कितनी मर्तबा कहाँ किस सिचुएशन में कितनी मर्तबा उसको किया गया है। तो फ्रीक्वेंसी के साथ जो है वो आपका एक सोशल बिहेवियर या आपकी सोशलाइजेशन जो है वो बहुत डिपेंड करती है कि आप एक चीज को कितनी दफा करते हैं। देन कंसिस्टेंसी रिपीटिशन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न एंड इवेंट। You will also see the consistency of showing that behavior. If a child is exhibiting a behavior 3 times or he repeats the same behavior 3 times, 4 times, 6 times, then it will be easy to continue or to follow that behavior and to learn something. Consistency is the major aspect of learning something. Sanity, basically it is the parental modification. Parents must be there to watch the child and to see or evaluate the abilities and capabilities of the child, and you parents are also there to put the appropriate demands on the child. So parents who appropriately watch their children and who demands who put reasonable demands in the light of the capabilities their child is having or possessing at that time, they learn socialization in more effective way as compared to those parents who do not consider the capabilities and abilities of their children. So child will learn only when we also consider their abilities and their talents and their other resources Allah has blessed this child. So, and demands and expectations and challenges and different tasks must be assigned in the light of all these resources. Juvenile era, syntax, experience of finding playmates and questioning parents. The juvenile era is assured in which the child needs for peer companions or playmates. It coincides with the early elementary school years. Juvenile develops an appreciation of certain variation in living, a personally meaningful orientation to living being to take form. So, during this stage of life, a child needs to have relationship with playmates और वो कोशिश करता है कि अपने companions को बनाए और ये सारी learning जो होती है इसके elementary school years के दौरान ये needs जो है वो develop होती हैं। और इसके अलावा child जो है he wants to accept certain variation occurring in life. So with the passage of time, our needs, our priorities, and our interests get changed, and sometimes we include something in our life. So life doesn't remain static, and it's a ongoing process. So lifestyle or the needs and feelings, these are expected to be changed as we move ahead or as we grow older. Here a person tried to give a meaning to the living and try to find the meanings, and he developed the orientation why he is living in the world, why he is present in the world. So adolescence में ये चीज आप देखें, इस adolescent era में person जो है वो अपनी उसकी कोशिश होगी कि वो उस orientation को different उसको देखे और उसमें वो personally उसमें उसको किस तरीके से उसको वो मीनिंगफुल बनाता है अपनी लाइफ को। Collaborating with the charm. This period is a brief beginning with the need for interpersonal intimacy. अब इस दौरान जो है इस pre-adolescent phase में इस personality stage में person जो है he needs to have intimate relationship. At least he shows interest in interpersonal intimacy. Child begins to develop a real sensitivity to what matters to another person, and child doesn't give only importance to own thinking and feeling, but also he consider the need and importance of what other is feeling and thinking. Need for cooperative companionship is so powerful that people seek relationship other despite the fear of being reworked. So a person tries to find the cooperative companion, and that means is strong enough to have relationship with others. Although feeling and fear of being rejected is there, but despite that, person doesn't care about that, and despite that, person tries to have relationship with someone. तो अब इसमें प्री एडोलेसेंट में फेस में चाइल्ड जो है उसके अंदर ये ख्वाहिश होगी कोई इंटीमेट रिलेशनशिप जो है वो लोग डेवलप करे, और वो सिर्फ अपनी ही उसको वैल्यू नहीं देगा बल्कि वो दूसरों की बातों को भी अहमियत देगा। अगर आप बच्चे को थोड़ा सा देखें तो एक बच्चा होता है, उसे सिर्फ अपनी नीड्स से होता है, मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे ये लेकर दें, उससे से कोई कंसर्न नहीं होता कि के लिए पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे। लेकिन जैसे जैसे बच्चा बड़ा होता चला जाता है तो ही स्टार्ट्स गिविंग वैल्यू टू अदर feelings and emotions as well. तो वो बच्चा जो बस इसको with the passage of time he start realizing what kind of the another person is facing right now. तो इस तरह की चीज सेंस भी जो है बच्चे में डेवलप होना शुरू होता है प्री एडोलेसेंट फेज में। इसके अलावा फेयर ऑफ रिजेक्शन और फेयर ऑफ बीइंग अलोन इज ऑलवेज देयर, लेकिन उस फेयर के बावजूद वो पर्सन जो है वो चाहता है कि उसको कोई कोऑपरेटिव कंपेनियन मिले जिसके साथ विद whom he or she can spend time and feel relaxed. Experiencing lust toward a sexual partner. Now, need for interpersonal intimacy is not confined to have just a relationship, but it's also requires to gain sexual pleasure from the intimate partner. Each adolescent erupts at puberty when the need for intimacy evolves toward lustful feelings of closeness and tenderness with the sexual partner. So here, adolescent in that phase of life, person will try to have sexual relationships where will need to gratify her sexual desires while being closer to the sexual partner. Interest in a member of one's own sex is replaced by the interest in a member of opposite sex. So initially person try to make a relationship of own sex. Suppose boy will make social relationship with the other boys, and girl will make friendship, will make friends of same sex with other girls. But now what will happen here? Here the interest is not only related to the own sex. Here the person will try to will start taking interest in opposite sex. Suppose a boy will desire to have relationship with a girl, and the girl will desire to have the relationship with the boy for the gratification of the sexual needs and urges. 3 categories of intimacy needs and lust dynamics which have been described below. Orientation to other based on intimacy need. एक तो orientation वो होगी जो एक intimacy need से related है कि what do you want. Orientation to other based on partner status, and that orientation will be related to the status of the partner with whom a person is going to have the intimate relationship. And the third orientation to other based on how the genital are used, and here a person will use his genital to have the sexual relationship. 3 kinds of persons choose different mode of intimacy expression. Autophilic person manifests narcissistic flavor intimacy expression. Here, if person has intimate relationship, he will be more narcissistic, and narcissistic means self-love. Person will love own self and will give value and importance to own self. Isophilic person achieve intimacy with member of his own sex. Here, a person will try to have intimate relationship with the people of his belonging to own sex. Heterophilic person achieves intimacy with members of other sex, and now heterophilic person will try to make relationship with the member of other sex. Suppose if a boy a boy will make intimate relationship with the girl for the gratification of the sexual need, but isophilic, here the boy will make intimate relationship with another male for the gratification of the sexual needs. The lust dynamic regarding use of genital has 6 varieties. Orthogenital involves heterosexual use of genital sex organ of both male and female. Paragenital involves the use of own sex organ. Metagenital does not involve one's own genital, but another person's genitals are involved. Amphigenital refers to the case where one or both member of a pair who both take on a role that is different from the usual role. So here the role of both partner will be different from the usual role they are playing. Late adolescent, that is the last and 6th stage of personality development, establishing love relationships. Late adolescent begins with the acknowledgement of an orientation to genital behavior, and during this stage of development, person starts learning and acknowledging how to genitally behave and how to use genital. So it means during this phase of life, a person get matured enough regarding his genital behavior. It is also begin with how to fit that evolution into rest of life, and during this stage of life, person decides how to behave in future and rest of the life. It ends with establishment of a fully human or mature repertoire on interpersonal relationships, and here during this stage of personality development, person becomes mature enough to respond to interpersonal relationship. So students, these were the personality development and of the suggested by the Erikson Sullivan. And please, what you do, you review the whole theory of the Sullivan in the book recommended to you. You also go through the history, you please also review the evaluation. You are required to evaluate the Sullivan theory, including contribution and limitations noted by other researcher and theorist, Sullivan theory. And also please, you also are required to review the life of Sullivan as a human being. And please, if you have any difficulty, any problem in understanding that concept, you are free to post a question and I will try to answer all of your queries regarding the theory I have presented today.